Hi friends, it's Liz here. Welcome back and thank you for joining me today. I guess this will be my first in the series of Forgotten Friends projects. I mentioned I was going to start this inspired by Gail Agostinelli. She does this every Friday, I believe, and I really have a lot of goodies that I have worked on previously that I thought I should continue with and or finish. So hopefully you will join me today. Gather your goodies, maybe a project that you've been waiting to work on, and let's have a little chat. So first, I wanted to pull these out because I remember working on these and I absolutely love them. They're like my little sample cards. As you can see, they are meant to have space to journal. They're actually, excuse me, nice and thick, and they could be even maybe on a cover of a journal or just on their own as sample cards. I was working on this fashion themed kit a while back, and this is what happens to me. I make a few pieces, I put them together, and then I kind of move on to the next project. So this certainly still needs to be finished, meaning I still have to decide if I'm adding these to a journal, if I'm making them into a kit, or I'm just keeping them for inspiration. I really enjoyed this. I was using a lot of my fabric scraps and just a lot of just lovely pieces that I had that I wanted to, make as sample cards. So this whole kit, all the images are from Making and Creating with Digital Collage Club. I have shown you some of these pieces before, but let me just continue showing you what else I had made. So of course I had added some envelopes that I wanted to also, add as part of the little kit. And usually I keep everything either in a little bin or a little bag, if it's the same theme that I was working on, so that, it reminds me of the project that I made, but also if I wanted to continue adding to it. So far I've got some pockets, I've got some envelopes. These are additional pockets that I had recently made, and this is using some of the postcards from some of their collections. And this, I mean, Making and Creating with Digital Collage Club. If you are part of the club, you may have already seen the majority of these images that I'm showing you. I do have links for discounts for them below if you're interested in joining the club. You could join them annually or you can join them for a lifetime, and there are 2 different discount codes for that, which I link below. So anyways, I recently started making these little journaling tags with some of the stickers. I think I showed you in a haul recently from Stationery Pal. And then I like to also, as I said, put together pieces that I'll be working on that the kit, kind of will have at some point. These I made a long time ago. I will have a video linked. I've made, I think, several different similar projects to this. And these are like the little ephemera pouches that were made with those papers that I had in my shop a while back as well. I also put together some finished pieces as samples for myself. So I've got some dies that I'm going to be using because it is fashion / maybe sewing themed. So maybe that's what it'll end up being. And, if you're working on a journal, that you want to add certain pieces to, it's kind of nice to prepare ahead of time and have some ideas, at least if you were inspired to make something, and just kind of keep those together for, next time inspiration strikes. For me, it takes a little while, as you can see. Sometimes I make these pieces and then, I'll make a different theme with the same style, and I just kind of go with it. So these are some of the pieces that I showed you. These are all from Making and Creating with Digital Collage Club. I'm looking forward to using some of these as well very soon in some other projects that I will be sharing with you. And I just noticed that it's probably not going to show up too well because I totally forgot to move my camera angle, but you get the idea. These are all like fashion themed and ladies and all that kind of thing. So I will definitely be making more ephemera, but now that I'm seeing how much I have here, then I also have an idea of what else I might be missing. I think I'll actually be adding some real swatches, maybe with watercolors, or maybe even more laces and trims and that sort of thing, because I think that's kind of what's missing right now. I might want to put together many of these pieces in like a little kit. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of where things go. This is one of the bins that I mentioned to you before with some of my forgotten friends. And I'm just going to pick something that I think we can make today. So I will show you again how to make some of the pieces. And then I'll show you how easy some of these are to put together. I like to make things that are, maybe with one sheet of paper. So I know these little envelopes are just using one sheet of paper to make them, and they are super fun. But I think I'll show you that in a different video. I've got some journal pages in here that I've started. I've got some more pockets that still have to be embellished, but I may need to just make more with different themes. And these ones, I remember I recently showed you how to make them as well, the little doily ones. Right here, I have a video tutorial for these, and I will link that below as well. These are so fun, and they definitely will be added to something else, and I'll come back and decorate them. So these pockets, I'm going to call them pockets, but they're, I think they are. They're like tag / pockets. So they've got a tuck here, a tuck on the side, and then when you flip it over, you've got another spot on the back to tuck something in. Now, originally these were made, I remember Patricia Vidamontes made these a long time ago. She made them with book pages, and I had actually made a video showing you many of the different pockets that she makes. I will also link that below. But I started making these with just one sheet of paper again, which I think is super fun. So let's make some. And then hopefully this will be something that you can add to your collection. So I'm starting off with these lovely new prints that are in the Digital Collage Club Making and Creating collection. And I love these prints. I will put on the screen the name of the kit. And they're so fun because I wanted to do something floral for spring. But they're not like your typical floral, if you kind of know what I mean. So anyways, folded it in half. This is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I folded it in half, and now I'm folding like a little piece. I guess it's about an 1.5 inches maybe that I'm folding over, approximately. I'm not really being specific here. Maybe 1.5 inches. And I'm going to be gluing all this together. So that's basically the first step. So it's 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I'm just going to basically glue it closed and then continue to do my folds. I hope you guys are doing well. It is our long weekend here. We are celebrating, I guess, the Easter long weekend. So it's really nice to have some time off, and everyone that gets time off, it's really lovely. If you celebrate, that's fantastic, and if you don't, hopefully you will get to enjoy a nice long weekend, or at least a few days off to just relax and have some fun. So we actually have beautiful weather today. I'm in Ontario, Canada. It actually is finally sunny out here, and I think it reached like maybe, 10 degrees Celsius. So it's actually feeling a little bit like spring today. I just showed you a couple of other pieces there that are in this collection that I'm working with. So again, I'm folding one side of it over, and that's about 1 inch maybe of paper that I folded over. I'll try and leave measurements in the description for you as well. So anyways, that's the start of this one. I'll do another one just so that you don't get confused, because I know I kind of was rushing through this one. So I'm doing this again, one of the beautiful prints, and I'm just going to start the process. So hopefully if you wanted to make some of these, You know, you can make a nice, a bunch of them actually. You can mass make these in different themes or maybe different colors, and then just have them ready to add to your journals. I tend to not decorate my pieces when I make them because I end up decorating them once I add them to the project, whatever I'm finishing with. And I don't know if you're the same. Leave a comment below and let me know if you work like I do, which is making the bases for things and then eventually going back and decorating if you're feeling inspired. I tend to do that more than anything. I don't often sit through a project and fully finish it at once, you know, for many reasons, including the fact that I do have chronic pain. And so, you know, sitting for long periods of time does not work well for my body. And so I kind of take a little time here and there, you know, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes to make something. And then, of course, come back to it at another time. So I don't know if you work like me, but that's what I do. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say thank you so much, you guys. I realized I just hit 41,000 subscribers. I can't even believe I'm saying that. So thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for your lovely comments, for liking my videos. By the way, liking my videos means that YouTube will show you that I exist. If you haven't subscribed, that's usually the best way to find someone that you've seen before and you enjoy watching their videos. All right, so before I forget, I flipped this one over and then I folded about 2 inches up to make a pocket. So it's about 2 inches that I folded up once I flipped it over. And now you see you've got your little space here to make your pocket. And I'm going to show you again with the other one. What I liked about these pockets, or I guess I should call them floating pockets, because that's basically what they end up, you know, turning out to be, is the different pockets that you have on the side. So you've got 3 different pockets on either side, and, you know, different areas where you can tuck things in, which is kind of nice. These could also be used instead of a greeting card. You could always make some of these and then just add a little note inside, and it can be reused by someone, which I think is such a great idea. But again, if you're adding it to a journal or, you know, something you're working on, then I think it's just nice to have all these little extras. All right, so I'm taking my other sheet that I, again, had folded and glued in half. And then I'm folding over another 1-inch piece again, just to make that nice little tuck. And I'm going to show you just the different ways that you can make these into like floating looking tags, or, you know, just like a floating pocket that doesn't really have much of a shape to it except the rectangle that we're kind of making. So here again, I'm folding it a piece to the back of it, another 2 inches to the back. So you can see that when I fold it over, I'm folding it opposite the original fold that we made. So you'd be turning it over to make the kind of double pocket on the back. And then you've got your little tuck spot on the other side. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you're able to follow. Like I said, I've made these so many times before. I think you probably would have seen these already. But since they were some, you know, part of my forgotten friends, I thought I would show you again how I'm putting some of these floral ones together. So now that hopefully this has glued itself down, I've left the little tuck spot here. I forgot to close this one up. You can leave it open, of course, but I think I'm just going to add glue to the top of it to seal it more and actually make it a little tuck spot. If you leave it open, then of course you can, you know, add something larger that's taller in this little pocket. But just for the purposes of the video, I think I'm just going to make it exactly how I had made the other ones before. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to glue the little top that's open. I'm going to glue it down so then we have a nice little tuck spot on the side. So I hope you're enjoying this video, my friends. I'm still sort of sitting with not 100% being sure what I want to make next. And so I go back to things that I previously made when I feel like I need to create, you know, I need to do something with my hands. And this always makes it fun because at the end I have a finished product. All right, so this is my little bag of tags. You've probably seen this before. When I see a tag that I like the way that the angles are cut, I kind of save them. And so that's why I call this my little bag of tags. I have different types of tags in there with different corner shapes. And so I'll pick the ones that, I think suit my project. And it's easy because then they're even on either side. I don't have to worry about making an even angled corner cut here. So now you can see it looks like a tag, and you've got a tuck spot on one side and you've got 2 pockets on the other side, which is so fun. I really, really love that. By folding paper a certain ways, you can have so many things made with them. By the way, if you are new to my channel, I have an entire playlist called One Page Wonders, which is where I take one sheet of paper and make different projects with them. And I think I have over 85 of those videos now. So if you wanted to check those out, I will have that playlist linked below. As well, I have a link to my favorite supplies in the video description. Some of them are affiliate links, and whenever possible, I get a discount code for you to use in any of the stores that I have shown you products from, or that are some of my favorites. So hopefully you are taking advantage of those discount codes, especially nowadays, my friends. All right, so the next thing I think I want to do here is I'm just going to add these little... I always forget the name, but I'm going to add some of these. I kind of pre-cut them sometimes when I have little scraps left over, and I just put them in this little box, and so I have some ready to go, and it looks like I really need to make more because now I'm almost empty here. So reinforcers, yay, whole reinforcers. I knew the name would come to me. So I'm just adding these ones here to kind of show that this is an actual space to, maybe add some ribbon or a little twine or something. And I wanted it to be black so it stands out because I think it's a nice contrast to the florals. And as I said, this is the latest kit from Making and Creating with a Digital Collage Club. And you can find it linked below, as well as the discount codes if you're interested in anything in their shop there, if you wanted to join the club. I also have a whole playlist for them. I've made so many projects, and so anyways, I wanted to mention that. So I've just pulled out some pieces just to show you how these will end up. So you've got a pocket here, you've got your little tuck on the back, and then you've got your little pocket on the bottom front there. So I'm just going to add something just so you can see the difference here. Like I said, I've been making these little tag-shaped little journaling spots as well. So there is that one. I'm thinking about cutting up some of these ATC cards that they also have in the shop and making some more ephemera. But you get the idea. It's super fun and easy, and you've got so many different, spaces that you can add ephemera. So now this one I'm not going to make into a tag, but I'm going to add that little... again, I forget the name, but I'll show you what it is. It'll come to me, I promise. That's what happens when I'm just always filming, and when I film, I completely forget the words of things. But you'll know what it is once you see it. So I've punched my little hole. I'm getting my little jar of these guys. And then I'm just going to attach it to one side. And this way I can hang a little bulb pin with maybe some charms, or I can put a nice piece of ribbon through it, or something else that, will kind of give it a bit more dimension, which is kind of nice. So here we go with this one. And as you can see, we've got our little pockets everywhere again. I'm not sure how I want to decorate these because they're double-sided, so it might need to be maybe something bulky on one side and flat on the other. Let me know how you would embellish these types of projects. Would you do maybe some laces and trims, or would you kind of go with maybe more flat collages on top or something? I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with them. I thought I would quickly show you this last one, because this one I'm not going to do anything else to it except glue the top here again, but I won't be cutting it into a tag shape. I won't be attaching the eyelet. Is that what it's called? I'm just going to leave it like this, so it becomes sort of more of a a different style. And you can see I made the fold about an inch on this one, not an inch and a half. Yeah, it's about an inch that I folded over, so it's a little bit wider as well. And so I'm leaving it like this. And then I've got my other one that I made with the little eyelet that we can stick our trim through. So yeah, that was something that I wanted to show you, just the different sizes that you can get depending on how you fold it. You get a kind of a larger size or a slightly smaller size if you're folding it a little different. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what they look like, with some goodies in them and a little bit of trim, a little bit of sari silk. You can kind of get the idea on how you can fill these floating pockets and the different types of things you can add to them. Of course, you can do them themed, and that would also be really nice. And as I said, you could just come up with many, many things that you might want to do with them when you're adding them to your projects, or even sending them as a little hello in happy mail to some friends. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like this project. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll be coming back very soon with some more fun projects to share with you. Thanks so much for stopping by.